What's up, Chase It a Feeling? This is video podcast week 1. We're in week 4 of the season. This is something that I'm hoping to do every single week instead of power rankings. This will run down all of the weekly things like power rankings, tier list, matchups, everything. So sit back and relax. This is hopefully a short video. So I want to start off with the power rankings, and we had a few droppers this week. Some rises and falls, but really the power rankings sort of stagnated and stay the same. At number 10, we had Andrew. He had a really rough week. Once again, unable to break 100 points. Not where you want to be. So at 10. Jesse also follows at 9, unable to break 100 points as well. Jesse does have a little bit more upside than Andrew. That's why I have him at 9. However, I don't think he's in for a bounce back quite yet, although Jalen Hurts is probably the best QB in the league points-wise. At number 8, as much to the dismay and the great name changes he's had throughout the season, Doug is at number 8. Sad to say he's unable to rise. Another poor performance this week, unable to break 100 points. Then at number 7, we have Pascal, myself. Not a great showing, but was able to get the win. Maybe looking up with Zeke and CeeDee Lamb, able to get some more points. But this week is going to be a hard week with his biggest hitter out for at least 1 week. Number 6, we have Miles, who definitely fell the furthest, unable to break 100 points, and there were a few people like that this week who had bad weeks, but Miles fell the furthest just because Miles seems a little bit more inconsistent. Relying on wide receivers is a little bit more inconsistent than good running backs, and James Robinson, while being great, can he keep this up the whole season? That's my biggest question. Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson are ridiculous, but as we all know with wide receivers, they're big rise and big fall as well. Then we go to number 5. This is where we get into the top 5 teams. I really believe that 1 through 6 are interchangeable, but we're on to the top 5. And in number 5, I have Noah. And Noah didn't necessarily have a great week either. He got a win, but he only won with 107 points. And his big thing is relying on pass catchers. Travis Kelce dropped a touchdown pass this week. Cooper Kupp, Terry McLaurin, great receivers. But I'm not sure the sustainability of Noah week in and week out. Then we go to number 4, John. Definitely rose a lot more, 2 spots being at 6 last week. John put up 138 points. Definitely has the best tight end in the league. Definitely the best QB. Most likely the best QB fantasy-wise as well. But John just has a good team top to bottom. People are going to hate on him for that trade he made, but I really don't think his team got that much worse. In fact, Najee Harris has already, for the 1 week, has already outperformed Jonathan Taylor. So don't look at that as a consistent thing to happen, but probably just an outlier, but we'll see. John might have gotten the better end of that trade. Then we go to number 3. You're thinking, how is Aaron at number 3 only putting up 87 points? But Aaron can't really fall that far with how stacked his team was. Christian McCaffrey and Aaron Jones just having bad weeks. Patrick Mahomes having a down week. Marquise Brown was the one highlight for him. However, I do see Aaron getting a little bit better this week and probably the weeks to come. Then number 2, we have Taylor, who was overrated in the initial power rankings, but has jumped up just 1 spot this week to number 2 after having a big week at 128 points. The biggest or second biggest point scorer this week. Lamar Jackson is just unbelievable in fantasy. When you talk about Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts, yeah, they're probably the 2 best QBs in fantasy, but Lamar Jackson's a running back, a QB. He could honestly be a wide receiver just because of how dominant, how many points he gets. It's unbelievable. Helps that Nick Chubb got 17 points and Christian Kirk with around 20 points as well. I wouldn't look at Christian Kirk as a consistent scorer, but Taylor is definitely the number 2 as of right now. And like I said, numbers 1 through 6 could change interchangeably next week. I wouldn't see, number 7 or 8 jumping up to number 1 under any circumstances, but 1 through 6 could jump each other easily. And then number 1 is the only team that's left undefeated in the league, and that's Dan. He only got 120 points, but that's still a lot. That's the third highest this week. I think a lot of that was due to Hollins carrying him, just that unexpected second half. However, Saquon and Derrick Henry, oh my gosh, his team is just so deep. He's got good running backs. His wide receiver depth isn't great, but I don't think that that's really going to matter when D-Hop comes back. Dan's team is looking dangerous, definitely number one. I think even a loss here to Jesse doesn't seem likely, but if it does happen, he's probably still going to be number one the following week. All right, so now let's go into the week 4 matchups. We're partway through the week, so it's a little unfair to be looking at them, but we're still going to take a look at them real quick and pick our predicted players. We've got Fergalicious Clapalicious going up against Reno's Real Child, and I really got to say that I think Clap's going to pull this one out. I think that without St. Brown, Reno's Real Child is in some serious trouble. Fergalicious Clapalicious gets it done by, I'm going to guess, at least 10 points. Then we go down to Mother Bucker versus Daniel Gay Lewis, and I think that this one's going to be tight. I think Taylor probably prevails by 2 or 3 points, but I could really see it either way. I think both players have been performing very well. Both players had great weeks last week, and this is going to be a shootout. This is going to be the game to watch this week. Really think it's going to be a shootout. Then we go to Sudden Hurt My Balls versus 4-0, and I'm going to give the edge to Dan. I think this one's going to be closer than people think it will be, but Joe Mixon with his 17, 18 points to start off the week, I think that Dan's going to edge out Jesse by 15 points, somewhere in that buffer. I think Dan's just an explosive team. However, I know that's a large buffer to say 15 points and then say you think it could go the other way, but Dan's just got a solid team. So, Jesse could get the win here. I think he's more likely to win than Reno's Real Child, but I don't see Jesse winning this one. I think 0-4 is probably what's likely. Then we go to Reno's Gabagool versus Texas Toe Curlers, and Texas Toe Curlers is going to win this. Reno's going to fall to 2-2, Texas Toe Curlers to 3-1. I'm not really following this matchup as much. I think that Tyreek Hill's 25 points right off the bat is probably going to be good enough to seal it, but we also got to watch out for the rest of his team. Now, all that to say, Stephon Diggs and Justin Jefferson are different players, so they could drop 5 points each, or they could drop 50 points each, and this could flip really easily. It will be a decent matchup, but like I said, it's not the matchup I'm watching. The matchup I'm watching this week is Mother Bucker versus Daniel Gay Lewis. I think that matchup is going to be a shootout, 130 to 130. Then we go down to the last matchup of the week. The two weakest teams, not the two weakest teams, but two of the weaker teams are playing each other, and that's Murray Cookmoss versus Name Removed. He's been verbally warned twice about his name, but I will say Electric Boogaloo because that's a great name. He started off strong with 63.48 points. However, Jamar Chase underperforming a little bit there. I'm going to go bold. I think Andrew gets his first win this week. I think he gets his first win, locks down a win. Maybe not. This isn't going to be a momentum shift, but I'm going to say it's going to be close, and I think I'm going to guess Andrew gets 115 and Doug gets 110 with a close matchup, but Andrew pulls out the win. So that's your Week 4 rundown. Week 4 rundown. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you think and hit me up. It's the Week 4 power rankings and Week 4 rundown of the games. Let me know what you think. I hope you guys like this format better. It's going to be a little bit harder for me, so I hope that it works out. But if it doesn't, I'm sorry. I am the enemy of the league, and I am the worst commissioner in the world, self-proclaimed and proclaimed by you guys. I understand that. But Cowboy Kirby in the background, signing out.